Hi, I'm Isabelle, I'm 33 years old and I come from Zurich. My job, so what I do as work is basically, let me try that again, God. I work as a co-working retreat organizer. I'm a yoga teacher too, I'm an Airbnb host. This is how I also create this holistic perspective on my life, let's say. And how I fund it. My job is being me somehow and then making a living with being me. The more I grow, the more I learn, the less important it becomes to, I cannot really fit it into a mold. And I know that maybe in half a year I might be saying that I'm a cat food producer, right? Not very likely. But it's, half a year ago I was running a network supporting people beyond 50 to come into entrepreneurship. Now I'm a co-working retreat organizer, just to put a name, a label on it. Still the same person inside me, same drivers. I certainly went onto a sort of alternative career path, more driven by myself. I come from a background of collaboration, having run a co-working space in Zurich, which was a co-working space and incubator. People benefit from not working alone, so they come into this community of people that do the same things or have been going through the same experiences, and then you learn from each other, but you also start collaborating. You're like, oh, you're a designer, I need a logo, great. You're a business marketer, you can help me with that. So that's beautiful. But also I find that there's different places where people can work well in. In a city, it's great because it's just convenient to go there for a few hours. But then often, I personally feel the urge to retreat, take myself out of everything, go out into nature, and just refuel, get in some energy, breathe, and then sit down and focus and write things down and really get it done, really nail it without distraction. And that's why I do it. I just really am passionate about bringing people together that can help each other, that start to it just sparks when they get together. And over the course of a week, you have the time to really build relationships between people. I still had this big dream of sometime owning a hotel. I've always had this dream. It's still around. I did go back to it recently and realized that no, at this point in time I could really go for it and open a hotel or buy one, but it's in the way of my location independence craving. So being with Airbnb, actually hosting retreats, I have hotels, like pop-up hotels over time, and I'm really happy with that. So I think I'm basically there. I think we are happiest when we help people often. And making people happy with your work, I mean, what more do you want? I mean, the smiles that you see on people's faces when they come into a beautiful space, that they're just like, this is so much what I hope for. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to just like lie down on this fluffy bed, or just like, wow, a plate of spaghetti or a glass of wine was all I wanted just now. Or even like, wow, you brought down the stars from the sky because you organized this wedding. Yeah, it's amazing, no? Or I wouldn't have met these people if you hadn't really made us congregate here. It's amazing. I'm super house proud. My house it's a very charming vintage flat in the center of Zurich, right close to the lake. The title is, on Airbnb, Dreamy Bohemian Flat. It's a lot of vintage furniture that I collected over the years. A lot of flowers, I go to the markets a lot. My home is really important to me. It's always been like super important. And despite that, I travel a lot and it has lost its meaning, which has been contradictory for a while. But it's my home base, it's my nest. But what has changed, I wouldn't want to have a lot less, but what's changed is I don't care whether other people use it. So I am happy to share it with other people, because the people that come, they are in the same mindset and they take care of things. They really are appreciating it. They're happy when they can use it. And that actually makes me happy, because I get to share this beautiful home with more people. I always thought I would at some point live with a partner. I might, or I will most likely. But so far this has not materialized. So I wasn't able to share this home with somebody permanently, or with a family or whatever. And it feels like just super nice to have people from all over the world coming in and sharing this. It's a matter of trust. I really also believe in leaving doors unlocked, and it's just I trust the people that come in. I ask a few questions. I do my due diligence before they arrive. When they come in, it's all super hyper proper and nice and arranged, so they sometimes hardly dare to touch something in the kitchen, which is a bit, I mean, yeah, I need to invite people often to just like feel at home. So I'm more and more building a life that is not based on exterior factors, but my ambition is to be happy within the confines, if you want to call them confines, of my body. It's like experiencing that actually the good stuff, or all you can do is already within you. You can do it. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, and you can decide to be happy, independent of what's around you and where you come from. Within limits, talking about a Middle European person at least, Western European, American, yeah. So of course I need things. I mean, we all need clothing and food, but I'm really happy to go to a really nice hotel, or I'm really happy to eat super nice food and drink champagne, but it's not something that my happiness depends on. To go back to this focused state of happiness, it's all there. I don't need anybody to do that. And frankly, I mean, who else is going to take care of you if you're not yourself? I have a great relationship with my parents. They have always been highly supportive, and they, of course, are not so fond of my travel gene. They would like to see me nice and settled in a secure position. I think they're quite amazing parents I've got, amazing role models, believing in freedom despite not using it very much themselves. They're quite settled in the place they are, and yeah, I mean, they did give a lot of freedom in terms of work, but still, I mean, they have a quite conventional life, I'd say. They both were working, it's a classic Switzerland of the 1980s, man, woman living together in one flat in our case. Woman leaves work for a couple of years after having a child. Man is the provider. At the same time, man being a lot older than woman. Quite classic, except for that they are like 21 years apart, and that my mom is one head taller than my dad. Gives it maybe a little bit of twist. So in the last year I was in maybe 4 or 5 places. I was in the UK, I was in Sweden, I was in Germany, in Indonesia, in Bali. I traveled through Italy, Portugal, where else? Ireland. Yeah, it's been a few places. I've been to quite a few places. I guess it's part of my passion. I do have a nomadic gene. I'm not sure whether this is a permanent thing, but I gather it is. Working from where I felt best or where I felt drawn to. I think I'm just growing more curious. The older I get, the more curious I am, and the more I want to know, the more I want to learn. I've always dreamed of being with somebody that also had the urge to travel and to live at least in, let's say, 2 or 3 destinations during 1 year. That doesn't mean that we need to constantly travel, but you know, you have your several home bases. Whether you're constantly in the same home base together or not is a different question. But coming up with a different lifestyle than my parents was something I wondered about too, because it changed over time. Obviously, as a teenager, I thought that this was what was going to happen. I was going to become a lawyer first, and then, yeah, you know. At the same time, I always had this inner feeling that I would end up someplace else. Traveling or just having this feeling just made me open to a lot of international people. I was constantly surrounded by international people, and their different lifestyle influenced me. And also, I think there were a lot of sort of inner markers that drove me to interact with certain people that were not necessarily easy to deal with. I think I now have a better understanding of the world I feel I belong to. These days we're talking a lot about tribes, that people are looking for their tribes again. And I think this is something that is very strong in me. I'm really looking for my tribe of people. Ambitious and compassionate people, makers, people that really do things. They don't worry how bad things are, they just go. They do, they try, they know how to use their resources and to connect to the resources they do not have. And at the same time, they know how to appreciate life and moments, experiences, people, the really essential things in life. We have all the possibilities, we're very spoiled for possibilities. At least, like, coming from European countries, most of us have a lot of possibilities. at the same time we aim for the sky and we're like, everything is possible. That's also what we're taught, and I'm glad we are. And then it's really hard to settle on one thing. So it's easy to get lost in this, like, I can do anything, this is amazing. Well, let me try this, and then never really arrive. It's really difficult sometimes, and that's something I'm sometimes a bit worried about. To think, to try too often, and maybe not delve into it fully. I'd like to see people just like go for it for a certain period of time and not just like, life is not a very long taster session alone. You have to also eat the meal at some point. But we have a lot of possibilities. We ask for more, we move around, we're very connected. I mean, we are not ready to work fixed in one location, for instance, like many people really aren't. We demand a lot in terms of salary, we ask for really good work conditions, and I think it's fair, right? But that's just a paradigm shift. It has changed from like, okay, you get a lot of money, you just have to buckle. Nah, it's no longer like this. I think reorienting in a new way of organizing your lives. New, if you want to call it career path, portfolio career path, or also different ways of living together, like moving beyond the traditional family model. All the options, they've been around for a long time. I mean, so many divorces and new families coming together. I think a lot of things are moving at this moment. The biggest obstacle in this is just staying with like old belief patterns, like old patterns that we've been somehow imbibed with over the years, that things cannot go this way, that you cannot do this, that you should not do this. Or
like do what?
That you cannot just follow the things that are meaningful to you, or that you cannot work maybe, let's say, 7 hours a day and still be successful. And yeah, I think just this limiting beliefs in us, those are the most tricky bits in many places. Like, oh no, I cannot do this. And not because there's actual evidence for it. It's just like, you think you cannot do this. How I see myself in 10 years is a really tricky question, because I can answer this, but I can answer this how I see myself as a person. I know who I want to be, but I can't say I'm going to be a circus director or I'm going to be a mom of 10 kids. Having happiness within me, not depending on material things or people's moods or the weather or the country I'm in. Just whatever's there is the right thing, and have to deal with it and be happy all the same.